Hi, I'm Rajiv and I'm the president of DynaLead. I was just about to talk to you about systems thinking. I get this question quite often. So what is systems thinking? And how does DynaLead add value through systems-based consulting? So systems, in its simplest term, in its simplest sense, is a collection of parts. And it is the interaction of these parts that gives the system its character. So the whole is more important than the parts. The parts alone in themselves mean nothing. It is the interaction between those parts of a system that gives the system its functionality. So now what happens when the system is large? It's complex. It basically means that if we turn one knob, we don't know how we are affecting all the parts and their interactions. So now we have a complex system, a large system, which is essentially non-linear. That means the inputs we provide do not give proportional outputs. In such a scenario, which is typically the scenario for large business organizations and for our businesses in general, it is the point of leverage or the points where you can bring in maximum impact through small changes. So where is the challenge of thinking as a whole? Well, the challenge essentially comes from the way we are socially conditioned. The schools we go to, the colleges we attend, the environment in our houses, in our homes, everything tells us to break a large problem into a small problem and then solve the smaller problems and then integrate the solutions to make the solutions for the entire system. But this is not how complex large systems operate. You cannot add the sum total of smaller problem sets and then say that the sum total of the solutions becomes the solution for the whole. This is typically what we call as analysis. Systems thinking is just opposite of analysis. It is synthesis. So when you say that you are operating from a systems perspective, what essentially you mean is that you are operating from a synthesis perspective. The whole informs on the parts. So what does all this mean to the way we run our businesses? We have the sales, the marketing, the corporate R&D, the product group, the business verticals, and that's how typically large organizations and businesses operate. We try to optimize the linkages in our large corporation, and we hope that the whole would eventually play up. Systems approach has shown us, systems theory has shown us, that by optimizing the parts or by optimizing the solutions to the parts, we don't necessarily create an optimum solution or an optimum output from the organization. And this is what is, which is very important to understand. If you really want an organization to give its maximum possible output, then it has to understand that just merely by separating the interaction of its parts alone will never help. By optimizing the parts, you cannot optimize the whole. You have to understand the holistic solution and then move on to the parts. And that is the power of systems thinking.